in Kibbutz Megiddo in the north. So I'm speaking to you from Kibbutz Megiddo. And I'm so happy to be with you here. And I'm the educational director of the Global School Twinning Network. And I worked closely with Ashkelon Baltimore Connection. And I'm working with Shimon, who is working with you in Golda Meir connection with New Jersey. So I'm so happy that you joined us. And I'm sure we'll have a wonderful time here together. So we'll just, Tammy, we need to give another minute
Okay.
or we'll start. And I can see there is people who are also listening to us, but they are not with their camera. So we are around 12 people here. Here's some people who wants to join us.
Hello.
Hello, Mila.
Hi. Shalom.
Hi, Ila. Welcome.
I'm from
Where are you
Carmel.
from?
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I think since our time is really limited, I think we should start, and everyone who is joining us will join us, and I'm sure it will be wonderful. I see that also Sari Rubin is here, and Avi Kagan, so we have great people joining us. So good evening, or maybe it's a midday for you. My name is Yael Katz. I'm the educational director of the Global School Twinning, and I'm so happy to see some faces or to connect faces to names and to be with here today. And our session today wants to dive in to how to do twinning, how to practice the twinning themselves. I prepared a lot of things, but you can ask any question anytime, and please stop me whenever you want, and it should be meaningful for you. So I will start, but please share, ask, interrupt wherever you want to start with. So what we want to do together today, we want to speak for a few minutes about why we are doing it, what are the goals, what we want to achieve during the time that we are doing twinning together. We want to speak about the connection between skills and content and how we can interweave them into the twinning and how we can bring it to the situation that it can be a win-win situation, because at least part of you are teaching in a supplementary school when you have limited time, and we want to see how we can connect all the dots in order to use in the best way our time. And we want to speak how we can build a good partnership that can be long-lasting partnership and connection between the twin school. And we are going to take Tu B'Shvat, which is on our calendar as one of the holidays that everyone will deal with, and see what we can take it as an example of how to build good partnership connection. So hello also to Gail and to Sari, and we are going on with our program. And in order to start, I want to ask you a question, and I hope I hope I didn't do a mistake, but let's check it together in a second. And as you can see here, I will put it also in our chat. There is a Padlet board, and if you can get into the Padlet board, we'll ask each one of you to write a comment. And the question is the following. If you're thinking about your student, thinking about the end of the year after they had been in partnership with their counterpart in Israel or in the state or wherever your twin school is, and what you want your student to know, what you want your student to feel after being in touch all over this year with their counterparts, and what you want them to be able to do. And sure, if they're in a fifth grader or sixth grader, they want to take a plan and start it to bring to fly, but they maybe can speak with their family and to share with them what we are doing and where they have friends and what are the differences or the similarities. So it should be about their age and their ability, but think what you want your student to know, what you want your student to feel and what you want them to be able to be doing, or what their attitude will be. So we'll take just half a minute in order to try to get into the Padlet and to see some of your thoughts and answers. So try to do it, and if you have any problem, please just say so I can know where we are. I can see that we have some answers. Please try to be specific what exactly they need to learn, what they will know. Know that a student in Israel is, what they will know about their twinning city. Try to be specific. Thank you. So we have some answers about, we want them to learn about twinning city and school. Where are they, how they live, what they doing for, what they will do for fun, kids. We want them to feel connection to Israel. We want them to be curious, joyful, express themselves in a more fully in English, practice the language. It can be English or Hebrew to practice, depends on your situation. Write things that you are writing there. We want them to communicate, and if I will take it from there, I will say that they can be able to communicate between themselves, not something that we are doing only as a group, but something that they can communicate between themselves. Great, so thank you for your answers. And if I want to gather the answers and to see what we can learn from all your answers, we want them to get to know each other, to learn about the way of life, what's the meaning, what it's to live here in Kibbutz Kidover, how it's to live in Minneapolis or in New Jersey. What I'm doing after school, what the things that I like to do together, what the things that maybe we have in common or not. We want them to feel connected to Israel, and maybe also to feel connected to the Jewish people. And we want them to be able to express themselves, to practice different skills that we want them to practice, for instance, to practice the languages. So let's see how we can gather all of these things together and where it brings us. I want to gather the things that you are saying, and we are trying to see how we can see as part of our problem. So when we're speaking about twinning, we are saying that the main thing that happens in twinning is a mifdash, it's encounter, because we always when we meet each other, we are opening a window to someone else's life. We learn about his way of life, we learn about his city, his school, what he likes to do in the afternoon. And when I'm opening a window to someone else's life, it's also a mirror about my life, how I'm practicing my life, how I'm practicing my Judaism, what I'm doing in the afternoon, my fun things, my family, whatever. And in order to be a twinning, it has to be mifdash. Mifdash can be online, it can be something that we are doing together as we are now in the same conference. We can speak, we can ask questions. It can be something that we are doing asynchronously, and everyone can do it in the same time, and then we can share some sorts, but not on a synchronized time. And another thing that we are saying, it's part of our training, that the areas that we are dealing with is the area of Jewish culture and heritage. And it's not saying there are not, we can't do a project about science, or we can't learn something else together. And after that, you can go to the expo, you can find some programs that not necessarily specifically about Jewish culture and heritage, but it can also have other aspects that we are want to share together. And when we thinking about our goals, we can take things that you wrote in your Padlet. We want them to feel belonging to the Jewish people. And when I know someone and when I connect with someone, I'm feeling part of the Jewish people. And it's something that you say, feeling connection to Israel. We'll say a word about it in a second. And feeling part of the Jewish people. We want them to feel a connection to Israel. And specifically, we say Israel, not Israel as a country, because it is something as part of our discussion. Israel is part of being a Jew in the broader ways that we can speak about Israel, and of course, that we can speak about what the meaning of connected with Israel. Of course, we can argue with Israel. It's not saying that we are agreeing with everything that happened in Israel, but being a Jew is part of being connected to Israel. And the last goal that we want to focus on is appreciation and respect for various expression of Judaism, because in order to be one people, in order to be connected to the Jewish people, we need to respect different ways of living your Judaism. And something that happens through being twinned with another school is to learn about the way of life, to respect the challenges, to respect the culture and what everyone is doing. And in order to do that, we need to respect each other in being in connection. So all these good things are happening when we are doing twinning. And as you said, and something else that you wrote in your Padlet, is that we want them to practice also all sorts of things. And I think that it's wonderful to practice your language if you want to practice English or you want to practice your Hebrew, if it's possible. But it connects us that twinning enable us to practice skills that every student today, when we're speaking on the 21st century skills, which is something that you can hear all over, the student will be in a situation that they will need to work with partners that will be all over the globe. If we are speaking about flexibility, about social skill, about working with all over the world with technology, is something that's happening as part of what we want our students to learn, and the twinning enable us to practice it. And if we're speaking about social emotional learning, which all of you heard all of the time, specifically in the time of COVID, when I need to speak with someone else living in another country, it enables us to learn and to practice our social emotional skills and learning. So when we're having twinning, when we're doing something specific with someone else living in another place on the globe, and we are learning about each other and we're doing things together, it's enable us to practice all these skills. And I think it's part of the magic that we are all feel as having a twinning program together. Just saying for the Israeli educators that are here in the session, that if we're speaking the language of the Ministry of Education, it's called futuristic teaching, pedagogic methodology. All these are the same, different languages to the same skills, but when we are doing things together over the globe and as part of our training, it enables us to practice all these skills. So this is something that we're taking as part of what we're doing in the twinning. And another thing that we can speak of is the content and curriculum, because if we're thinking about what we are learning in school, we are learning Jewish studies. We are learning Israel studies. We are speaking about Israelit, Tanakh, Bible. All of us, there are content areas that we are doing together in our school. So, and we also will do it as part of the languages, as you spoke about before, about the languages. About it can be Hebrew, English, French. We also have some twinnings that French and Spanish are practicing during the twinning, and it can also be something that is like social things, like in Hebrew, in Israel, you have a program called Maftech Lev, a key to our heart, when we can have some Jewish values that we can interact through this Jewish value. I can see that we have some issues with sounds here.
Yeah, it's Dennis. Dennis, you're okay? Can you hear us?
Denise.
Maybe Tammy, maybe we can ask someone from the production.
I asked
okay?
already.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I hope it will be better in a second. And if we're taking everything that we spoke about the skills, and we're taking everything that we spoke about the content, we are trying to bring all of them together in order to do our twinning program. I won't dive into it. You can have as a presentation afterwards in our website, but if you can see, all of this is coming together in order to have a great twinning connection. And what I want to share with you before we're going to the next step is when I have in my mind all these goals in as part of what I want to do as part of my twinning, I can take things that I anyhow need to do as part of my teaching, because I need to teach about the holidays, and I need to teach languages, or I need to teach different things, and then whatever I choose to do with my partner is part of my twinning connection. And I think that the most important thing is to think about this issue and to think together with my partners. It's not necessarily that we are having the same goals. Sometimes each one of us has different goals, but together we can think about activities that each one of the twin classes can achieve their own goals from the same activity. And as much as we can think of it ahead, we can do a wonderful activity and can earn out of it the goals that we want to achieve during our teaching. So in order to do it, I believe in structure and connection. I don't know about about each one of us connection, but I think that when we have time, as we spoke with Dr. Ruth Calderon in the beginning, we need time for our family, we need time to celebrate, and we need time to connect, because when we don't have time, every one of us are doing lots of things all over the day, and sometimes the weeks and maybe the months can fly, and we haven't connected with our partners. That's why I think we need time to connect. And the beginning, starting the connection between staff members. We ask, our advice is to have certain times that you want to speak with your partner. It could be every month or every 3 weeks, and of course we can change it if it's not convenient, but to find time to speak. And in most of the cases, when we have time to speak, we can decide what we are doing together. We are starting doing things, and things are going on, and the twinning is flourishing. So I think this is really important for our experience dealing with hundreds of twinning all over the world. Another thing that's important for us is to have a joint timetable, because each side has different vacation, different times where it's stressed in school, and different times when it's easier to do a project together. If we are in the beginning of the year, over the summer, or whatever you are speaking, depends where you are, we are speaking and spreading the year, we can understand when it will be good time to do twinning. And of course, in one way, we want to plan all over the year, because time flies in education, but we want to be flexible to things that we are doing together. We spoke for a minute about our goals, about our joint goals and different goals that each one of the side have. And we want to be very sensitive to the culture that we are living it. In one in one culture, it's not appropriate to call in your private cell phone, and the other one it's wonderful, or to speak 2 days before activity, or to speak 10 days before activity. And as from my beliefs, that when we are speaking about these things, we can find solution. I believe that when we are putting things on the table, we can find a lot of option to deal with a lot of situations. So I think that it's important. And the last one that I want to mention, it's something that we already trying to wrap the ties, is to find the win-win situation, to find when it will be a good time for both of us to connect, to find if one side wants to practice the English and the other side is a supplementary school in Hebrew, it's not something relevant to speak with. So maybe the connection can be in English, and then the Israeli side can practice English, and the American or the European side can speak in their own language, mother tongue. So we can find a win-win situation whenever one of us can earn, and always to ask yourself, will be the added value when we are doing things together. We always need to find why it was worthwhile to do it with my partner, and the question in most of the time is will be connected that I learned something new about his life. It's something that I can't Google. It's something that I can't go and find a wonderful YouTube about Jerusalem, because I can find wonderful YouTube in the web, but I can't find Israeli speaking that I know, and afterward I can ask a question about how he feels about Jerusalem, or what he did when he went to go when he went to Jerusalem with his family, or what he and how he celebrates Hanukkah in his specific family. So we want to try to find the added value of doing things together. If you have any question, you are welcome to write in the chat, or if you are on part of, if you can, your mic is open, please do so. I want
just to know the time that we have 12 more minutes.
Great. So I want to dive into a specific example about Tu B'Shvat. And please, Tammy, if you can help us to put the question in the chat. And if you have any question about before that, I'm happy to answer any question. The people who has their mic on can participate and open their mics. The Hopin platform can able only a certain number of participants to have their mic on, but you are welcome to write a question in the chat, and we will be happy to answer. Oh, let's do a quick question of what Tu B'Shvat brings us, and how we can, what kind of a content area we can deal with Tu B'Shvat, we can open with Tu B'Shvat, and then we can dive into a specific example how to take Tu B'Shvat as an example for building twinning connections. So you're welcome to open the answer garden and to ask to answer the question, what content can we learn about Tu B'Shvat? If you are now planning something with your partner school in Tu B'Shvat, what area of content you would like to do together? Favorite plants at home? What, like specific plants? Maybe in different country we have different plants. Maybe we have the same plant with the different names that we can learn about agriculture, or things that we are growing at home. Any other sorts? I will go forward since our time is limited. I want to go on. So try to bring a short brainstorm. If we are speaking about Tu B'Shvat, maybe we can speak about roots. Maybe we can speak about homeland. Maybe we can speak about environment. We can speak about the 7 spices. About from generation to generation. All of these topics are topics that sometimes we are dealing with Tu B'Shvat, that we can maybe think about how I'm preparing what I want to do with my partner when I'm doing something. So I wanted to take an example. If I'm choosing to deal with family roots, how preparing a joint activity can deepen my understanding and can deepen my connection to the Jewish people. If I'm going back to where we started this conversation, we spoke about what I want to know, what I want to, I want my student to feel, and what I want them to be able to do. So if I'm focusing on family roots, and this is a topic I'm discussing with my partner, we can speak about we as a Jew, one people that live in different countries and move away in the world in a different way, and that can take us to each one of the family. What's the journey of my family, where my journey came from, and maybe to see that different families are moving to different places, and sometimes maybe our students, that one of them can now live in the United States and one of them can live now in Israel or in Europe, came from the same place wherever, and then each one of them did his own journey over the years. So it's something that happened, and it's also enabled us to bring the family as part of this conversation, to see what as part of the journeys that we are doing, and of course to speak about the similarities and the differences between the journeys that each of one of us is doing, is part of our joint journey. So this is the logic that we spoke about, why I'm choosing this topic. It's maybe sometimes I know that at least in the Israeli education system, it's something that we're doing as part of either sixth graders or seventh graders are dealing with my family roots. I'm also trying to see if it's something that anyhow I need to teach it, but doing it with teaching it or dealing with it with my partner all across the sea, it's something that can bring me an added value to my student, and I can expand my understanding and my connection to the Jewish people. So this is something that it's worthwhile to deal with. And then I can show you an activities that we choose to do with students over the sea. We use with our twin school, we use Google Maps. And as you know, in Google Maps, you can also choose to have a private map that is specific for you. And here we ask the student to ask their family where they're coming from, what are their family story. And we worked with them with layers over the Google map. As you can see here, it's not only locating different places over the map, but you can also add a sign, you can also add a picture, and if it's a kid that it's for them something that they are able to do, we can also use the Google Forms and ask them specific questions that we prepare from the beginning in order to learn about the family, maybe something about the place or the Jewish community their ancestors or the grandparents or the great-grandparents coming from, and to see the different journeys. As you can see there the American flag and the Israeli flag, which means this is part of the students are from the Israeli class, and part of them are the classes in the United States. And then we can see the journey, sometimes from the same country, two families, one of them had their journey coming to Israel, and one of them had their journey coming to the United States. And we can see the journeys that each one of them are doing. So it's something that, for my perspective, it's something that anyway we will want to deal with our family roots. It's something that we want to deal with, and then doing it with our twin class can enrich us, and we can learn new things about Jewish journey, about our partner community, about our partner school, and our families of our students. And as you can see in the example, you can also add videos, you can add pictures, so you can dip and do your learning journey in different way. Depends how many time or what you want to dip in, depend of the age and the ability of the student. But it's taking the time of Tu B'Shvat and finding something that can be meaningful to both sides and can enrich both sides in order to do something meaningful with our twinning. So we're having another 3 minutes. I want to say a few sentences and open for the question. For me, building a good twinning and long-lasting twinning is something that we need as educators to communicate and to find where it can enrich our learning with our students from both sides. And I'm working with lots of twinning. I think that when you want to find the win-win situation where it can be an added value to both students from both sides, we find it, and that's why our team is working with you, and we will be always happy to help you to have a conversation and to find the right things to do. The presentation will be open in our website. All the sessions are we
Recorded.
are there, and it's School Twinning Online. You can find there all the things that will be all the presentation from this session and the lecture of Ruth Calderon, everything that was from this section, and you are we will be more than happy if you will come to our website, and we are uploading new activities all the time, and we will be happy to help there. You are also happy to write us an email, and we will be more than happy to communicate and to build with you wonderful twinning relationship. So I want to thank you. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your hard work building good, long-lasting twinning connection. And I'm happy to answer any question. And please write in the chat or ask if you can. And I'm here, and I'm always can be reached. And you are. I will be more than happy if you contact me and to help you in anything that I can. So we have last minute for a question or two.
Yael, I just been asked if you can give your email address or something like that.
No problem, and you can also find it afterwards, and you can also write an email to the Global School Twinning at Jaffe, to the School Twinning at Jaffe, or to me. I'm happy to be here for you and to speak with you. I can, if there is not a specific question, I can promise you that the next session will be more than interesting, and Jonathan Konda is waiting for you, speaking with you about time, and then we have a wonderful panel, so stay tuned with us, and you won't be sorry.